Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. Once you put away your phones and your computers and all that shit we have nowadays, yeah, it's great. We're up to date. Your brain is the only thing you have when you're going through depression, when you're going through hard times, when you're going through death, real life shit. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to, you may have a best friend you're going to, but there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain, and your brain is talking to you in all kinds of ways, and it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. You got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over. It's over. When that alarm clock goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, your mind says no. You just say, it's just what we do. It's what we do now. Because to get to where you want to go, the amount of pain involved, I'm not saying physical, I'm not saying you got to break yourself off. The amount of mental pain of how many times you're going to have to do something that you don't want to do to get to where you want to go is going to be, there's going to be more times you do something that you don't want to do than you are going to want to do it. And that's your new norm. That's your new norm. So then it's like breathing. And then once you do this over and over and over again, it becomes like breathing. I don't want to live this lifestyle, but to get to the other side of this, I have to.
If what you say has validity, and you keep saying it, despite all the abuse and all the ridicule, you keep saying it. If it has validity, that's the key. If it doesn't, then it won't go anywhere. But if it does, eventually it will be shown to be so. And that's the process that I've been through.
So remember this slogan? Don't drink and drive. My brain said, okay. Because it only hears what comes after the don't. They changed the slogan to stay sober. Now my mind knows what to do. So when you're communicating with yourself, instead when someone says, how you doing? And you're saying, I'm a lot less stressed. Your mind hears the word stressed. Instead, say, I'm more calm. Oh, calm. What if you say, how you doing? Not bad. Your mind hears bad. Instead, I'm doing pretty good. Now your mind just heard pretty and good. If I was teaching you customer service and we just did a transaction and you said thanks and I said, you know, hey, no problem. What'd you just hear? Or maybe I'm really cool. Hey, no worries. Now you just associated problems and worries to me. I want you to associate my pleasure. So make sure you pay attention to the words you use because they're influencing your unconscious mind all the time.
I don't meditate every single day just to be at peace and be in a Zen state. I do it because it's a mental exercise. It improves my cognitive capabilities, meaning that when my mind goes somewhere else, that's the opportunity, because when I pull it back with my breath or visualization, I built that muscle. You know, I think if somebody wants to improve their esteem, their self-esteem overnight, just study your brain. Like you'll get a boost of confidence and pride like instantly, because it is the most incredible, I don't even know what to call it, a device, a supercomputer, what, in the whole universe. You know, it's not just about going out to Mars and all these other places. I want to go in here, because this controls what? Everything, our careers, our income, our health, our relationships, you know, whether or not you get, you know, complete. You know, we were talking about this before our conversation here. What, you know, when you're training for Ironman and triathlons and everything else, is how much of it is mental? Like we know, like everyone knows what to do, but do they do what they know? Because common sense is not common practice. And it's a myth that knowledge is power. Knowledge it has the potential to be power, but it only becomes power when we use it, when we apply it.
In our age of information, an unprecedented junk data load enters our minds every single day. And this junk data then influences our minds. It affects our values, it creates our needs and desires, and even how we think. It's our responsibility as individuals to carefully feed our minds with selected input. And that input then, if chosen wisely, will produce this desirable mental environment in which we can start to understand our minds properly enough to control them. I want you to ask yourself, is it constructive for me to be bombarded daily with newspaper tabloids of death, sex, fear, terrorists? In my mind, the majority of newspapers are more important for terrorism than terrorists themselves. Choose your media source wisely, because they are seldom designed only to transmit information. More often than not, their primary objective is to spark your interest using catchy headlines fueled with fear and sex, which happens on direct expense of fact.